Mic check. Motor Masters podcast was made, of course. I'm back with another Thinking Out Loud. Trying to change the angle up, so hopefully this works out good. If it don't, then we'll see. First and foremost, I want to thank all the supporters, listeners. Listen, man, I say that a lot, right? But last week, I think, really showed that I got a lot of supporters and listeners because that was probably, at least feeling-wise, the way I felt like that might have been my worst ever Thinking Out Loud. Now, there's a story behind it, but I don't believe in excuses, so that's just on me. I gotta take that on the chin, and I gotta make up for that in some episodes coming up and stuff like that. But yeah, shout out to y'all, man, for not giving me a bunch of negative feedback. I didn't get a negative feedback, but I just felt it, and even in post production of trying to make clips and things of that nature, like I didn't feel like I had enough good moments during them Thinking Out Louds to make clips. But my Thinking Out Louds are really just freestyles, just thoughts that I have, just kind of blurting them out and sharing them with you guys. So I'm cool with having it come out, but to be doing 50 something of them and that one just stick out to me, like even editing wise, like should I put it out? Should I not put it out? I don't know. So shout out to y'all, man, for still watching and sharing and liking the stories and the snippets. I ain't like it, right? Because I didn't put a full snippet out of it at all. I put it on my story, but that was it. I put it on like Snapchat and stuff, but I didn't make no full video for it to come out at all. So almost like no promo at all with it, but it still did kind of the same number. So I'm appreciative of that and of you guys. So I'll make up for it. If you didn't like it, definitely let me know. Let me know what you like about it so that I can try to veer off from doing that. But shout out to y'all for sticking through and through. With that being said, though, the story behind it is should I say it? All right, so I did record a Thinking Out Loud before that one, and that one was dope to me. At least I felt the energy was more put together. However, I had a situation happening during the recording that caused me to do a lot of certain kind of movements, and I couldn't like fully finish. Like I needed like maybe 5 more minutes, and I couldn't finish. And so when I packed my stuff, I came here home, and I finished there. So and it just didn't feel right. Like I had to do the intro over. All you seen was like a replica, and then the original I deleted it by mistake. So I was going to put 2 and 2, but my Thinking Out Loud is not like that. It's not no editing involved. It's just me talking, free talking for a certain amount of time and just going. So I want to keep it that way. But I want to continue the music, so I will play some music real quick. Shout out to y'all. Hopefully I like the music I've been playing. I haven't had no complaints about it so far. Play a lot of R&B. I do love R&B, I'm not gonna lie. However, I listen to a lot of rap as well, and Philly artists got me in the chokehold right now. I ain't gonna lie, a lot of Philly rap artists got me in the chokehold right now, so that's what I'm into right now. This is cool.
To be real, I'm still working on
To be real.
how I react. To be real, I still ask myself if I should do rap. To be real, I barely made it. Through the crack. To be real, it ain't a lot of niggas who got my back.
It ain't.
To be real, it ain't a lot of bitches who I could call. Just a vent, just a snack. Just a bit, just a chat. To be real, it ain't a lot.
To be real, it ain't a lot.
To be real, don't take a lot. I seen my folks play foul, but I wasn't tripping.
Nope.
A lot of niggas bite style, I turned up and switched it.
Yep.
Most people got agendas, they just keep it hidden. We gon' see somebody slipping if we keep on spinning. Niggas feeling like they losing, cause I keep on winning. I was losing too, drugs I'm abusing too. I was moving too, crib to crib, sharing rooms. I
had shit in Dawn crib and in the
airing room. Patience running out, a mil away from paper running out. I heard my stomach growl.
What you know about that?
Now I just got seated, about to eat that towel. Gotta keep believing,
Can't throw in the towel.
Gotta keep believing, can't throw in the towel.
Nope.
Thankful that I'm breathing, so for that I smile.
Yep.
Now I just got seated, about to.
Gotta smile, baby. Gotta
keep
smile.
believing, can't
Don't throw in
in
the towel, baby.
To be real, I'm still working on how I react. To be real, I still ask myself if I should do rap. To be real,
Hey, this is a nostalgic moment, man.
Through the crack. To be real, it ain't a lot of niggas.
I actually found my old More Than the Masses book when I first started doing interviews.
Just a bit, just a chat. To be real, it ain't a lot. To be real,
I got a bunch of stuff in
I
here.
hate vibes, I was cool with getting by. Drugs ahead, you not focused,
These
not
questions.
getting fly. I know bitches got motives, in it for the line. Everybody want their moment just to stun and shine. Little niggas wanna clone it, but I got in time. Niggas act so bogus and they
Out of line.
Might take a little minute, but I gotta climb. Might take a little distance, but I gotta find.
When I feel
I'm
like
getting mad, I try being calm.
Gotta be
Tell
calm, man. I
myself
be
you
getting
ain't
mad a
that
lot
busy,
lately,
go see
too.
your mom. I think niggas been envied, I was being blind. Zoom call early morning,
I tapped in with Don.
Fan roll past like, damn, that nigga on and on. Like he said he is. No time for petty shit. I played the Selly shit.
When I made the Getty lit.
To be real, I'm still working on how I react. To be real, I still ask myself if I should do rap.
Hey, hold on. Mic check. Morning Masters Podcast. I was made, of course. Let me go ahead and turn this stuff off. Don't need interference in my stuff, man. Take that out. Hopefully y'all can hear that stuff. Mic check. Morning Masters Podcast. Man, I was saying, man, I found my old book. I used to use this book right here, right? This very book you see right here. I used to use this. I used to do interviews. I got it's a domestic violence episode I did with Shanera. Shout out to her. Depression, perception. I broke down some stuff. I got a bunch of stuff. Healthy Jaws episode, which I never even did this episode. So I used to have questions for stuff I didn't even do. I was always just prepared, man. Food Tour Will didn't do that episode, but I had questions ready for him. So when I be telling y'all stuff, April, this is, no, I don't know who that is. Let me not say that. I don't know what that's about. Talking too much now. Oh my God. Kendra Clay, shout out to Kendra. Kenton Jamal, shout out to Big Ken. Quad on here. Man, I got interviews for days. Episode 66, Conker Jones. Bramaya, she's a teacher. Bomani, Quentin, shout out to Quentin. Danny Blaze and Cassandra, shout out to them. They was in the movie with Carlton Clay. Man, I got movies in here. Fast Towns, I Reached My Heart, my favorite movie. Jesus Christ, man. I got some joint. I got stuff in here. I like to find this book, man. I used to write my questions in there, and I used to write anything. If I was doing an episode alone, I write all my notes and stuff in there. And that's why, like, it's funny, right? So I started the episode, I was talking about, a bad episode I had last week. But when you think about it, it's funny how stuff work out, because I used to be so organized. I had nothing but time back then. I wasn't in the position I am in now. At the time, I wasn't doing all that I was doing. The weight on my shoulders then isn't the weight of my shoulders now. The way I carried the weight of my shoulders then isn't the way I carry the weight of my shoulders now. So I had more time to do stuff, and certain things that's important to me now wasn't important to me then, so I wouldn't care. And I would just write in my book all the time, write any questions, interviews. Like I said, I got people in there that I never did interviews in, and they still got the same businesses and everything. So shout out to me, shout out to them, man. That's just a moment I want to share with y'all, man. I feel like it was, I don't know, I might not care about that. I care about it though. So I got More Than Masters hat on, just in case, This is old. I got this a long time ago. More Than Masters hat. Got my podcast and chill shirt on. Hey, it's a medium, so you might see me keep bringing it down. I'm not a medium at all. I'm definitely a large or extra large now. I gained some weight. What can I say? We all do, don't we? You know what I'm saying? Don't fat shame me. Yeah, man. Another thing out loud. So I apologize, like I said, for last week. I want to make it up this week. So one of the things I did want to touch on, a couple things. First of all, I was talking to somebody the other day, and they said, I don't know if they had attitude or just a bad day or what, but they said something, and you like to go tit for tat, da da da. This is the thing about the tit for tat, right? I don't like to go tit for tat. Let me tell you why. I don't like to go tit for tat because, for one, the way I'm wired, I want to win. I want at everything. I don't have to win, but I want to win at everything. So when somebody say you like to go tit for tat, I don't like making people feel like shit. I don't like dissing people. I don't like feeling like I have to have one up on somebody. I don't want to have that type of situation. But when it comes down to it and that has to happen, then I definitely will tie my boots up and I'm ready to go. But I feel like I've been doing so well, like not doing that. The guy just said in the song, he said, when I feel like being mad, I start being calm. And that's how, when I feel like being mad, or I feel like I'm about to go tit for tat, I feel like I'm about to just show you this. Once I get in that mindset, like, oh, I'm gonna show you. I usually just chill, sit back, see if it's worth it or not, and then either let it go or you go full throttle with it. And for the past couple years, I've been letting it go. I haven't been back. I haven't did tit for tat with nobody. I haven't gone back and forth with nobody. I slipped up one time, and I ain't gonna bring it up too crazy, but the last time I went tit for tat with somebody, I ended up being on a 30-minute phone call of somebody just apologize and cop and plead. And I don't need that, bro. Like, I don't need that in my life. And it's just weird energy for no reason when I could place energy somewhere else. Instead of going tit for tat, I could probably be writing. I'm gonna make another book like this. I could be writing my book, doing more podcasts, and doing real life stuff that I have to do. So that bothers me to think that this for somebody to think that. That's another thing. I think it's the fact that people would think that they're important enough to go tit for tat. You know, that's a choice. You know, when somebody chooses to go tit for tat with you, that's a choice. And I don't think there's nobody right now I'm on a mission right now. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I'm on a mission in a couple spectrums in life, and I don't want nobody to stop that mission. So for somebody to think I want to go tit for tat with them, it's like, you think you worth my time like that much? That's crazy. That's crazy. My thing what happens is people know an old version of you and they hold you to that version. And that's fine. That ain't my business. Don't hold me to that version of me. You know what I'm saying? You hold me to a younger version of myself. That's cool, because I was cool when I was young too. So I ain't gonna sit here and act like, I don't have a lot of them ways in me. But as far as going tit for tat, man, I got so much weight on my shoulders right now. I got so much things. It's so much in my day to day that requires me to be attentive and alert and functioning, that I would be remiss to ever think that I should go tit for tat with somebody who isn't important enough for me to go tit for tat with. And it's not even dissing nobody. This what happened a minute ago, but just the thought came back up, like the nervous somebody to think that I'm going tit for tat with them. Like, that's crazy as hell. I got real shit. I got real stuff going on. I got real goals I'm trying to make. My goal is not to get one up on somebody. Actually, right now in life, the way I'm moving, if you get one up on me, you can have it right now, bro. Like, because I'm thinking long ball. I ain't thinking Thursday. I'm thinking next year. So, and that's my battle right now. I think a lot of times we think too much in the moment. I'm not thinking in the moment right now. I'm living in the moment, but I'm making moves for the future, and I'm not arguing with nobody or going tit for tat with nobody unless I just have to show you something. Now, if you disrespect me or something like that, that's different. So keep that in mind, people. Just don't say my name in a negative way, and then we should be good. But other than that, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I'm good to go. I did want to touch. So I don't know if I should touch on this first or second, but you're gonna go with it. So what I do got in store, somebody said they wanted me to talk more about my day to day and management and what I do outside of podcasting, my real life. I was hesitant at first, but I remember a guy from my last location actually sent me some questions for his project. And I answered him in a hurry because he needed them, but I want to kind of revisit those questions. He sent me like 8 questions about just management and what I do, and it's kind of catered towards like a personal question, like, what do you do here? Who's this? What about this? Mistakes you made, stuff like this. I want to kind of answer those questions and give y'all some intel on just on me. But before I get into that, there's a post. I always talk about posts. There's a post that I saw that I want to address. It's not negative, man. It's just, I don't know, people say some weird stuff on Facebook, and I get it, man. I get it. It's a mentality thing, man. As a Capricorn, I would never like a Libra. Hey, we gotta find out. J. Paul, you my man, bro. Like, we cool. We went to school together. Cool individual, man. I hate to call you out in the podcast, man, but you got this disdain towards Libras, man, and I really got to figure out where it came from. I don't know who hurt you, or I ain't gonna say they hurt you. Let me not say that. I don't know who tried to play you, and thought they were gonna get off on J. Paul, and you was like, hey, stop, it ain't happening. But bro, like, we some good people, man. At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Find you a Libra, J. Paul. I feel like you want one. You must want that one. I don't know what they did, but we gonna talk behind the scenes, man. You my guy, man. Shout out to J. Paul. That's not the post I want to read though. I don't read another post. It says, I usually don't get on Facebook with the bull, but I was blocked in at 3DL tonight with this fat, sloppy ass, short, ugly ass nigga arguing with me about my truck. You mad because my nice and you driving a little ass 2-door 1991 Honda? Then the N-word works at my job cleaning dirty laundry. F out of here. Maybe making $10 an hour, man. Bye. Oh, maybe making $10 an hour. Man, bye. That's better. Go get that dirty sheet off the 9th floor. PUSSY. No listen to the podcast once again. No relation at all. I just read it because, hey, look, man, it's Black History Month, man. We gotta stop downing people, man. If somebody make $10 an hour, $7 an hour, you gotta stop belittling them, man. I don't know what that situation is about, but I just hated the fact that when we're mad, we start to try to figure out what people make per hour, and we feel like we're better than them because they make a less amount of money per hour than us, and that's just corny to me. And especially Black History Month, like, come on, bro. If you're gonna do it, don't do it. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Anyway, the post I've been seeing going around. I want to talk about this first before I get into my one I get into. The post I've been seeing going around, and I wanted to address it says, I ain't having no kids unless I can promise them both parents. The person that shared this said, realistically, don't even think about having kids. Now, shout out to her, because that's a real thought. My problem with the post, right? My problem with the post is that I know deep down somewhere somebody really thinks that way and believes that, right? And there's nothing wrong with wanting your kids to have two parents. Actually, that should be a goal. That should be the norm. I know society has shown us, taught us, and we see it and we live it, that that's not the norm. But that should be the norm. It shouldn't be something that you yearn for. It should be something that's just there, right? But then it's this big, humongous barrier, right? And it's called life. And that should be in the way for everybody. Like, it's in everybody's way, right? Because you got to go through it. You got to go through life to get to whatever. And life starts lifing, and it's a wrap. So I agree with the share. Like, realistically, don't have kids. I'm cool with the mindset. I'm cool with if that's just a mindset, it's something you're trying to manifest. If that's like a manifestation quote post or something like that. But I know deep down there's somebody that really believes that. Like, and I want to ask anybody that feels that way, that shared that post in agreement, is, do you think that people that have kids and they're the only parent, or do you think that kids that have one parent, do you think that parent really decided, like, you know what? I'm gonna give my kid one parent. No, I just I just don't see it. Life happens, bro. Like, life starts happening. Like, there's so much that comes along with that process of parenting, of becoming a mom, a dad, a father, a mother. It's so much with that process, and to be honest with you, everybody ain't built for it. Like, that's a huge responsibility that everybody cannot deliver on. To say the least. The mindset of, I'm not having kids unless I can promise. You can't promise that. The reality of things is this: you can't promise anything from anybody, at all. The person, even when you have kids with someone, right? I'll use my own example because I don't want to use somebody else, and they say, oh, this, people like to pick apart your arguments based on what their stance on the argument at hand, or the topic at hand. So I don't want to pick them apart. For me, right, the person I was before I had kids, and the person I end up being or turning into, or growing into, learning myself more in that process, and who I am now is night and day. So granted, I will live in my kid's life every single day, every step of the way, right? However, you change as a person, right? And a lot of times people can't separate the parenthood from the relationship, and that also plays a factor in it. So it's cool to want your kids to have two parents. I mean, that should be the norm. Like I said, that should be the norm. It shouldn't be something that we should debate about. If it takes two to make one, so it should always be two there to grow that one, and to parent and develop that one. However, some people aren't mature enough to make those transitions, to adapt to that lifestyle, that life of now you have a human being in this world that needs you, now even if the relationship don't work out, I have to work together to still develop this creation that you guys made. And also another part, you can't even promise that. I know the reality of it in the Bible, you got your religion, all that stuff, like you should get married and you do this, you do it the right way, People get divorced, because like I said, everybody has to get through this big barrier called life. You can get married and get divorced. You can get married. You can do everything right. You can wait till you're married to have sex. You can get married, then you can have sex. You can get pregnant, and you can still get divorced. You can still be a single mother or a single parent or a single dad, whatever. I'm not going gender based. life happens. You're not gonna be able to ever promise this, and it's not in your hands sometimes. And I think what happens is you'll lose a lot of yourself, whether man or woman, trying to make another person parent. Like that, this whole idea of I'm not having no kids unless I can promise both parents. You can't promise both parents. So I guess unless the poll just means you're not having no kids, and then I missed the point. Ooh, over my head, man, you idiot. Cool. I take it. I take the loss on the chin with that one. But the reality of that post is this, man. You cannot promise anything. You can't promise anything because you don't know about your own situation. You don't know if you're gonna be the same. You don't know if you can be able to you don't know if you will be able to step to the challenge. You can succumb to parenthood. It's so many other factors that determine that. Like I'll say, I want to talk about this, and I want to still get into what I want to get into. I want to talk about this. I wish if I could change something in life, just in life, right? I think it would be after my first daughter was born, Brooke, my oldest daughter, just not knowing that whole process of, okay, women are gonna go through a different transition than men, right? That's for one. Women are also gonna go through a transition where they're gonna feel a way about themselves, and because they feel a way about themselves, they're going to act a little differently. Their mindset is different. The way they react to things are different. The way that they speak about things are different. Their approach to certain things are different. So whereas in my situation, I used to think like, yo, why the she trying to tell me what to do? Which if y'all know me, I know I don't like that. But that was different back then. Back then I was okay with it because I wasn't who I am. I grew and developed, but I wasn't who I am. I was a younger kid, and it was fine back then. I didn't trip on that too much. However, what I did notice was that, okay, the mother of my children probably felt like she wasn't pretty no more. She probably felt like, I wasn't attracted to her at the time. She probably felt like, she wanted to get in her own space. It's like that's a big deal. She probably felt a lot of things she felt differently on because here she was a 22-year-old young woman, now a 22-year-old mom, and those are night and day, right? And being young as I was then, I didn't know that you had postpartum depression, or I ain't know none of the things I know now that I speak about openly, that I learn about, that I read upon. I didn't know none of that stuff then, right? Had I known some of that stuff, I probably could have been better support, better support, and then certain things probably wouldn't happen. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? I'm cool how life went. I'm not saying I want to change anything like that, but I do think that that's another thing because deep down, I'm pretty sure even probably my mom, my kid's mom probably felt like, I'm gonna promise my girls are not gonna grow up like me with my parents separated, and then boom, look what happens, right? You can't promise that because she can't account for me and what my plans was, or how I came up, or what my lack of knowledge in certain areas and things of that nature, and then you just kind of just spread apart. And like I said, life happens. Life happened. She had to go her way. I had to go my way. We had to still learn, be there for the kids. Boom, 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 and it happens. Cool. Life is going life. You just can't promise them kind of things, and that's my only gripe with that post. I've seen a lot of people posting it, and it's normally people that don't have kids yet. And I try to stay away from the whole mindset of if you don't have kids, you can't speak on things with kids, because the reality of it is this: before you have kids, I think your ideology on things are just very vague. And it's true ideology. You might feel like we're gonna have both kids, we're gonna have both parents, we're gonna have this, we're gonna have that. And those are good to, like I said, those are good things to manifest, to want, and it should be the norm. But when you have kids, or you're in that position, you're in that situation, and you gotta go through that big barrier called life, you realize that it's not as simple as saying, hey, I want this, I want that. For some it will be. But for everybody path is different. Everybody's life is different. We all going through the same thing of life, but everybody going through different doors, having different stops, different challenges, facing different environments, facing different people. It's so much that's going on that you really can't ever say, I'm not having no kids unless I can promise. You just not having kids. That's it. Like that's the only answer to that question. If you sit here and tell me I'm not having no kids unless I could promise they have both parents. You're telling me right now, just tie your tubes up, or you're having no kids. You done because let's take that out the equation. Let's just say, for instance, that's not even the case. Let's say that you don't. It's not that y'all broke up. People life has to end. It's also somebody's life can end. Now, boom, you got one parent. You can't promise that. You never know what's gonna happen, so you just can't promise it. Maybe I took that post a little too literal because I feel like I went a little hard for no reason just now. But yeah, it was bothering me that people were saying that because it's almost like a slap in the face to me. And I know it's not meant that way, but it's almost like a slap in the face to me because there are people who two parents, even though it should be the norm, I'm not saying it shouldn't be. Two parents aren't always the healthiest thing because you can have two people that shouldn't even be together, and you really ruining this kid's environment. Y'all can't stand each other. Y'all shouldn't even be around each other. But just for the sake of having a two parent household or whatever the case may be, and that's not always the best, in the best interest. You know, I don't know. It's just so many different variables that can be taken. But for me, I would look at it as a shot to people who don't have two parents, and then we go into the whole, you picked the wrong baby daddy or you picked the wrong baby mama, blah 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 blah. My stance on that is always gonna stay the same. Um, I don't feel like a lot of people always know that the person that they uh is it procreate or recreate? I don't know. Person that they have kids with, or they get pregnant by, or they get pregnant. I don't think that they if it's not intentional, I don't know if I can blame them for that per se. But I'll say this: people change, man. People change. Now, if you do it multiple times, if you got like 4 or 5 uh, kids by 4 or 5 different people and they all trash, then your argument might not stick with me. But if you just got one kid by one person and that person happens to not be ish, I probably wouldn't doubt you for it. Even if you tell me, oh, I knew he wasn't, whatever. Naturally, people have hope. So naturally, you want people to change. Naturally, you want people to adapt. Um, a man or a woman will show you a lot of things before things hit the fan, and then when things hit the fan, they'll show you something different. So, and that's a word. Ooh, that's a word. A man or a woman both will do that. They'll show you so many different things until things hit the fan. It's like, okay, well, you can't do it now. Only when it's not crunch time. People fall under pressure. And pressure for some people could be kids. It could be relationships. It could be truth. It could be anything. So that post just really, really bothered me a little bit. But yeah, don't promise anything like that, because I always say this too. People will, oh, that wouldn't be me, or that can't be me, or wouldn't be me, blah, 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 and then it be you. Like, I'm telling you, I've seen it. I've seen a woman say that, man. I seen a woman shout out to her. I hope she get out of whatever she got herself into. But I done seen her talk so much trash about other women, and couldn't be my nigga, couldn't be my nigga. And I seen her man on a date, went live on Facebook, and she watching it, and she back with him. And that's crazy to me. Like, you could do a lot of stuff to me, but you're not gonna publicly embarrass me. And then, no, it's just no way. But to each his own. I ain't gonna say it couldn't be me, because it could be me. I'm just saying, don't say it couldn't be you, because when you say it out loud, I think somebody hear it, and they be like, all right, cool. Life. See how that came full circle? All right, so I want to get into this. So anybody that knows me, they know I'm in management. All right, so I work for a Fortune 500 company. Okay, and I don't know if that means anything to y'all, if that's a big flex or not. I could say the name where I work, but to me it's just that. But when you say Fortune 500 company, it sounds so like suave. It sounds very real sophisticated. So I'm gonna say that again. So I'm a salary member of management at a Fortune 500 company. Yeah, it didn't really sound that good. Anyway, sound like an asshole really. But yeah, so I work at a Fortune 500 company, and I'm a salary member of management there, and I've been doing that position for a little over a year, almost like 18 months now, so about a year and a half. Um, I think I've done an okay job for the most part. And somebody who I guess you could say kind of looks up to me, or just admires, how I handle things, whether it's pressure or whatever, just problems that day to day. And they wanted me to help them on a project because they had a project about they're going to school for business. Excuse me, business management. And so he wanted me to help on this project. So I said, yeah, sure, of course. So he sent me some questions, and I want to I guess I want to just answer them real quick. So it says, briefly describe your current position and responsibilities. So it's a lot of responsibilities, right? But like I said, I'm a assistant store manager. So even though I have a area of penetration that I need to focus on, technically speaking, from one side to the other side, front to back of the building, behind the building, parking lot, in the building, all that is my responsibility. Technically speaking, right? So I run all the day to day operations. Make sure everything running smooth. Make sure the store's clean and safe. Make sure all the customers being taken care of. Make sure all the associates and anybody is being productive. I make sure to de-escalate situations, handle all any big issues. I do a lot. You gotta handle payroll. You gotta handle expenses. You gotta run the business. You gotta run the plays. You setting up pods throughout the day. You are watching customer interaction to see what's selling, what's not selling. And then you're working, but you're doing all that through people. So it's not like I'm physically running, getting this, running, getting that, running, getting that. But part of my position, my job is to see who's available to do these things, right? And then get them to do it. But also have to be very detailed in what I want them to do so that they do right the first time. Because if not, then I gotta be a different person so they can do it right the second time. If it's not done that way, then I gotta be a different person again so we can figure out why you didn't do it right the second time. Because at that point, I'm gonna get somebody else to do it. But I'm gonna figure out why you didn't do it right the second time. So, and I have to be, so mind you, like even me speaking like that is different, right? So that's briefly what I do. It says, what do your subordinates expect from you on a job? So I told him, I said, support leadership, training and honest feedback, support the decisions, and lead by example. Also, guidance if needed. So for me, in my position, I have two, at least in my concentrated area, I have department supervisors for each of the departments that I'm over. So what they expect from me is I work through them. So anything need to be done, I kind of tell them the plays. I might know ahead of time, I might know in advance. So we have to set up, prepare. If we see, I'll just give you an example. If we see a bunch of patio furniture come in, I have to say, hey, look, a play is gonna be set up in 3 weeks from now to put that patio furniture here. So let's put it here for now to see if we can sell it, and then we'll gradually move it over there, whatever the case may be. I'm saying we, but it's not necessarily my job to do so. All right, I tell them they can either do it themselves if they want to, or they can get people that's under them, their subordinates, to do so. So that's one way. Training, you always want to train somebody up. You want somebody to take your spot if for some reason you choose to step up. If you going to somewhere different, another area of the store, or just to train them up so they can also, make more money and get promoted and things of that nature. So in doing so of that, you have to make sure that you can't just keep all knowledge to yourself. So you have to, if I know some things, I have to take that extra 5-10 minutes. Hey, yo, come walk with me real quick. We walk around the building. I'm showing them things. I'm showing them this. I'm showing them why I would do that differently. I was showing them maybe something they did. I think y'all did that, but it could have been tighter, or you should have priced that, or, you should have put that there to have an attachment to go with that. You got this soil. You should have put these patio blockers and then some plants here so you can sell as a group just to generate more revenue. Certain things like that. If it's a associate problem, like, don't you come to me real quick? I gotta talk to the associate. I want you to be there. I want you to see how I'm talking to the associate, how calm I'm being, when to not be calm, when to lean in, when to fall back. Just the teaching and training aspect of things. You want to make sure that you're training them on that, giving them honest feedback. Hey, I know last night you had 2 associates with you last night closing the department. I feel like you kind of could have went over to another area and gave them some tasks and then follow back up with them. And while you did that, you could went to the area and fix this area since you was here last night as a member management. You should probably want to learn all the areas of the store because you may not always be in this area. It's just a certain way you talk to them and talk to the associates. So anybody up under me, that's kind of what I'm giving you. And then also I joke a lot. I play. I want to make sure it's not all just strictly business. You want to have fun. You want to enjoy where you work at. So I'm showing them also fun ways to do the job. So I don't always be do this, do this, do this, do this. Sometimes I'm joking, we laughing. I'm joking with how I'm working hard on you. Sometimes I'm coming physically to help you out. I may do something with you so that I can do it. If I can do it, then naturally I will hope you want to learn how to do it. So then once you learn how to do it, you can then train somebody else. And now we keep training. That's management anyway. We're training to make our job easier. Once I train my subordinates on how to do things and how to look for certain things and things I'm looking for and things I'm expecting, I set my expectations, then they can set their expectations. And the relationship I have with my subordinates are key because however our relationship is, I want it to mirror how their relationship is with their subordinates. So if me and my two subordinates got a real good relationship and they know what I want, I ain't got to tell them to do. I want them to have the same relationship with their subordinates so that we can either help other areas of the store or that we can just run the business more smooth. So hope that wasn't too long with it. I'm sorry if I'm being long with it. It says, what are the major stresses and challenges you face on the job? So I'm not gonna lie to you. If you listen to Thinking Out Loud from all last year, that was my escape really from depression and just everything. Last year I had a store manager. I worked in Aiken first of all, so the drive was already crazy. The team wasn't the greatest. We was a good team, but we had some weak links on the team. People that been there for a long time that I just felt like I couldn't learn nothing from. So that when I say something about the training and all that stuff, that's important. That's an important component in being a good manager. That's just being good, not even being great, just being good. And I didn't get that from them. I felt like I went there with not a lot of experience. I had the least experience, but I would feel like I was being called on the most for whatever reason. So a lot of stress there because you normally have. I think one of the main stresses I always face is knowing that you have peers that can't do their job at the same level you do your job at. And then it kind of brings you down sometimes because you start to fall back. Okay, well, I ain't doing all this. Or you're able to do what you need to do and also other areas of the store. And it's like, why can't we all do that? That's the stress of the job. I work in retail, so things are steady changing. You got different seasons. So right now, it's about to be busy season. About to go into spring. So about to get crazy out there, and I always run the garden, so it's gonna be crazy. That's a stress level in itself because it's like I'm in a district too where we want to be number one in everything. So I mentioned earlier about wanting to win, right? That mentality of wanting to win, wanting to be number one. That's the same mentality that the district has. So it's not that it's stressing. It's not that it's stressful because it's not. It's just the want and the will to want to be number one and everything is what's stressful. Not wanting to be subpar is what's stressful. I think in management isn't hard at all because management is only a position. It's a position, and you're just telling people that's it. That's management. But wanting to be great and wanting to be good at it is what's stressful. Wanting to have an impact on people's lives day to day, a good impact is what's stressful because it's hard to do that sometimes because you have to be firm, but then you want to kind of fall back and have fun. You want people to enjoy their work. You want people to want to come to work. So that's the stress level. What did I tell him? I told him, I said, long hours, new processes wear on the body and mind. Dealing with a bunch of different personalities on a daily basis can also be draining. So yeah, man, you deal with so many personalities. Like I said, if you're a great manager, you stepping outside your comfort zone, outside your realm. So I might be over this one quarter of the store, but I'll walk the whole store all day, every day. So I'm touching bases with a lot of different personalities. One person might have a bad day, and I have to kind of not be okay with it per se, but have to kind of look at that and then manage accordingly rather to that person. Somebody else might just be not having a bad day, but they've been not working for 7 days straight. Now I gotta be a little firm with that person. Somebody else might be working super hard, and now they mad because Their peers aren't working super hard, but I have to also be fair and get other sides of the story first before I can just agree with that associate. And there's so much that's going on all in this one time span because these ain't even my people per se, you know. So that's another stress. It's just different personalities you're dealing with every day, and you have to start to learn those personalities and learn those behaviors, and then also picking and choosing when and how to deal with certain people. The long hours. So if I go in at 5 in the morning, I'll probably leave until about 5:36 anyway. If I go in at 7, I'll probably leave about 6:37, 8 o'clock. If I'm closing, well, by because of design, I have to leave by a certain time. But in all actuality, if it was up to me, I would stay a little later. And like I said, that's just me. That's just me. I can't speak for other people. Somebody else that's doing the same position might tell you, "Oh, I get on time." And every store is different. Every store has a different customer base, customer centric, and a customer count, and also a customer demographic. Their demographic of customers are different too, so all that matters as well. Uh, what's the next question? What, if anything, do you dislike the job? Oh, do you dislike about the job? I love the job. I dislike that retail has completely changed since COVID. That's the only thing about being in management right now. I think so. I could sit here and say I worked with my company since 2014, which would make 9 years in this coming April, right? Technically speaking, I can say that. So I worked at this company for 9 years, but in reality, I've only worked at this company for 3 years because when COVID came, that changed retail completely. Retail is not what it once was. It's moving faster now. It's a different ball game. It changed the world. So this is a whole new company. The company I came into when I was 2014 is not the company that's 2023 right now. Which, granted, you always want to grow, blossom, and expand, your business. But COVID made things change, and that's the only thing I probably dislike about the job right now is that because of COVID, we're continuously changing things because it keeps leaving but coming back. We don't have to deal with it now per se, like for putting a handle on it. But now it's a whole new society we live in. This is a new society. This is a new America. You know how they got up. Well, I ain't gonna get biblical. I don't want to get into all that. You can do it. What do you like best about your job? I told him having an impact on people who want to grow. I ain't gonna lie, the money is cool too. I'm not gonna say a lot to you, right? The money is definitely cool. The more I do like that we get the bonuses. The bonus time I like the most. I haven't really gotten a bonus I really can say, oh, I love yet, but money is money, right? So I do like that aspect. I like the fact that in real life, it mirrors in real life because in real life, I like to be in charge. I like to take control. I like to be the one that's solving a problem. I like to be the one that you're gonna call on when you have an issue. I like to be one looked at. So I posted something the other day. I posted this, or I shared this post, and it says something about Mr. Make It Happen. That's what I like to be looked at as. I like people to look at me and say, I can call him and not worry about the situation. In management, that's what manager is really, right? So in management, somebody should be able to call me and feel like he gonna have it under control. But of course, it don't always go that way, right? But that's how it should be, and I feel like that's my that's what I like most about the job. I like the fact that it mirrors me in real life now, but also I feel like the job has also shaped me in real life. So I learned so much stuff on the job that I've ended up conforming in real life because who I am now is not who I was a couple years ago. Even being in management a couple years ago, I was not the same person. I knew I was in charge. I knew I made the most money out there, but as far as like stepping into that role, I just didn't do it. And then once I started to do it and I started to do it outside of life, and I realized that, it was for my best interest and my best benefit to do those things. Yeah, man, I thought it was dope. I continue to do that, and I do it now. What are the critical differences between average managers and top performing managers? Oh my God. So I told him, I said, the why behind what you do, whether it be money, impact, leadership, wanting to grow, the why is very critical behind why you are in management. When I say that, I mean this. Because the question was the differences between average managers and top performing managers. So a top performing manager, for one, he wants to be number one, right? He wants to not just the number one manager. He wants to be the go-to guy, the Mr. Make It Happen. He wants to be the person you call on when you have an issue. He wants to be the person that he wants to be the face of the building. He wants to run the building, run the store, run the business. And he also wants to train and develop those people up under him to do the same. He wants the best for everybody. He wants for the people, or she wants for the people that want to grow. An average manager, I mean, the bare minimum, because nothing doing the bare minimum is still doing, right? But it's the bare minimum. So you're not really a top performer. You're just an average manager. Which, like I said, retail has changed. So in today's climate, finding an average manager might not be that bad. To be honest with you, it might be a good thing. But in all actuality, yeah, a top performer manager. I don't know if I would consider. I mean, I'm not into like the rankings like that, but I would say top performer manager are heavily relied on, heavily overly used, usually underpaid. But that's why I said the why behind what you're doing it for. It determines, it really play a factor. If you're doing it for money, you're probably not going to be a top performer manager. If you're doing management for money, you will probably not be a top performer manager, because if I make $75,000 a year and you make $75,000 a year, but I ain't doing nothing, and I do it for the money, I come in management making $75K a year, I'm gonna do what you do. If you ain't doing nothing, I'm gonna do nothing, right? So if I'm doing it for the money and I'm making good money, I'm okay where I'm at. I'm complacent. I'm good. I'm here. I ain't gotta do all that stuff. But a top performer manager wants to always excel, get better and better at what he's doing, learn more and more, grow more and more people, train more and more people, develop more and more people, obtain more and more knowledge, give out more and more knowledge, just be better at certain areas, and just continue to get better. That's what a top performer manager wants. You want to outperform other people. You want to get raises. You want to move up in the company. You want to get promoted. So you don't want to stay stagnant in that one spot the whole time. So that's also a reason why a difference. But I think sometimes it's how you are in real life. So if you look at a regular, average manager and a top performer manager, I think, in my opinion, mind you, this is just my opinion, one of the main ingredients that differentiate a regular manager or average manager and a top performer manager is that leadership aspect. So I feel like this. I feel like you could be in management and not be great in leadership, but you can also be great in leadership and not be in management. But I feel like to be a top performer manager, you got to have both. You got to have leadership and management. Management is just this. Okay, look, guys, they saying we have 500 hours, so I'm gonna have to send you 8 home. Y'all work. That should be $500. We good to go. I know what you gotta do. Go ahead and do it. I'm gonna talk to y'all later. That's an average manager. He made sure payroll was straight. He told him what to do. He said, I'll come back, check on y'all later. And, that's that. That's really, what more can you ask for? He did the bare minimum. But then you have a leader, right? So you say, hey, look, y'all, I'm cutting y'all hours of this, that, and third. Everybody, oh, man, we only have 400 hours, but we're going to cut. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to cut. And when I'm cutting that, I'm going to come help y'all, split y'all into groups. You going to do that. You going to do that. You going to do that. I'm walk with you. I'm walk with you. I'm walk with you. Take 5 people. Make a team. What we're going to do is I'm going to go around and help each person, and we're going to keep going around that way. And then once you're done, y'all go help the next person, And that's more detailed, he getting in down there with them, or she getting down there with them, making like detailed plans. You walking with people to show them what need to be done. It's just the leadership aspect. And now they feel more comfortable because you out there with them, showing and telling them how you want it done, versus somebody saying, you know what you got to do? I'm taking your help, still get it done. I'll come back in 5 hours. Versus somebody saying, I'm taking your help, but I got a plan. Y'all do this, y'all do that, y'all do that. Breaking the groups. Once you're done, help them. Once you're done, help them. I'm going to come walk around, Those are two different managers, So when you ask about an average manager and a top performer manager, a top performer manager is going to not only make it happen, but he or she is going to make it happen seamlessly, almost. Like it's not going to be no change. Even though there's big changes happening, you won't really feel it because they'll have a plan in place to make up for anything they took out of whatever y'all was doing. But average manager is gonna say, "Hey, look, man, I'm cutting 400 hours because we up over. Y'all still gotta get it done. I'm going in the office." That's the nature of the business. So leadership and management, whereas they go hand in hand, you can definitely just be in leadership and not be a manager. Because how many times have you seen where you have a manager, or let's say this, yeah, you got a manager, and there's somebody up under him who is really running the show. That's the leader. That's the leader. The manager, he happened to be in role. He's in a role where you can't disrespect him. He's just making a lot of money and maybe just pointing, do this, do that. I'm not dissing him as a manager, cool. But then you got a leader on the floor who is, doing, leading by example, touching, making things happen, and also being charismatic, still looking out for the people, making plays, making plans. You know what I'm saying? Putting things in motion for someone to still be comfortable at work and feel like, damn, certain things are attainable. I think that another difference between a good manager and a top performing manager is people will look at a manager, an average manager or whatever, and realize, oh, nah, I could never do that. I ain't be in that position. No, I ain't doing that. But a top performing manager will make it look so effortlessly that a top performing, a top performing manager will make it look so effortlessly that you got no choice but to respect it. So, I'm almost finished, y'all. The last question, I think 7 says, nope, no. Think about the skills and knowledge that you need to be effective in your job. What are they and how did you acquire them? So I put down courage, knowledge, fairness, and reliability. And you acquire these by making mistakes. Make mistakes, being available, learning from those under and over you, understanding you don't know it all, and being a team player. So we got a thing where I work, it's called core values, and you want to just focus on those core values. So you want to be courageous, you want to deliver results, you want to focus on customers, could be a customer, basics, centric store, and you want to, my favorite one, you want to, damn, I forgot, I just don't tip my tongue just now too. So you got deliver results, focus on customers. Look at me messing up. Deliver results, focus on customers, be courageous, continue learning. Yeah, you want to continue learning. And that's my main thing, continue learning. It's 5 of them, but I only listen to 4. But continue learning is my favorite one because I feel like you can never know too much, right? And also people under you can learn new things, and people over you can as well. So just because you in management and you're over somebody don't mean you can't learn from the person under you. I learn by curiously through a lot of people that's under me sometimes, silently sometimes too, but also, hey, this is how I go. Oh, word? Okay, cool. Thanks for showing me. Blah blah blah. And that's how you acquire a lot of things. It's okay. Part of being courageous is knowing when you're wrong and being okay with it and saying, "Oh, thanks for showing me." That's courageous, because that also what that does is it gives the associate under you the feeling of, okay, I could be something. I know more. I know something he doesn't know. I know something she doesn't know. So it helps out a lot too. Last one, it says, what has been your biggest mistake thus far? Could you have avoided them? I put my biggest mistakes were all avoidable. All it required was me paying attention. Once I started to move at an effective and efficient pace, I've been great. And yeah, man, my biggest mistakes, I think just really moving too fast for one, and not wanting to conform with the new ways the company was going. Once you were at a company for so long, you used to do it one way, you don't want to conform to these new ways. Once you start to do that, you start to see that you gotta be on board with things. That's just the main thing in management. You gotta be on board with things. Like, it's like in a team. If you're supposed to play defense and you out there not playing defense, your team suffers. And I think that and then also stepping into role. I think my biggest mistake was being hesitant into stepping into a role. Like, I was hesitant to step into that role that was just there for me. Like, yo, you should be in charge. You should be this. And I was hesitant. I would be quiet sometimes. I wouldn't say things. And once I started to step into that role and be more vocal and, kind of impose my will, put my foot down and things of that nature, I realized that good things start happening for me. And it's like, damn, I could have been doing this, and it always was there for me. I just didn't do it. So that's what. But that's my. I made a lot of mistakes. Don't get me wrong. I made a lot more than those. You know what I'm saying? But or thinking that things is easy. Nothing is easy. Even an easy day. I realize now that if I see an easy day, I make it hard for myself somehow, somewhere. Because if it's an easy day and I take it, the next time I have a hard day, it's gonna be super hard. I'm gonna keep thinking like, damn, when I had that easy day, I should have had to just put some on my plate. And in management, it's no easy days. You know what I'm saying? Every day should be challenging. If it's not challenging, then either you ain't doing your job or something's wrong. So that's the spill of that. But I wanted to give that to y'all because I thought it was dope. I'll probably send it to this person too so he can see it and just have more of a visual with it. I hope that I didn't bore you guys too much with the talking. I wanted to make up for last episode, so I wanted to go a little longer. We almost had an hour, I think, or something like that. So yeah, man. Much respect to y'all. If y'all got topics and stuff you want me to touch on, don't be afraid to put in the comments, or don't be afraid to message me and let me know. I'll definitely work on or talk about any topic. I'm trying to shy away from the gender wars, but if it's a gender conversation that need to be had, or just I'm trying to stay, I ain't gonna lie, I'm trying to stay from that. I ain't really trying to do that. But yeah, man, this is a dope episode, man. I should sell this book, man. One day it can worth some money. This book, mark my words, man, this book one day probably can worth some money. If you in this book, and some of y'all are, because some of y'all are in this book. It's on my friends list, and because when I first started, all I did was people I knew, my friends. If you in this book, if I first started a podcast and you did an episode with me, my first like 50 some episodes or 100 episodes, you probably in this book. Book gonna worth money then one day. One day, it's gonna worth something. One Master Podcast, be out.